Hello everyone. In this particular study, we're going to take a look at the last homework problem in Chapter 1. Now, Chapter 1 really just lays out a macro view of governmental accounting. So what we have here is basically we have on the left-hand side, we have some sort of concept or some sort of financial reporting requirement for state and local governments, federal governments, as well as non-governmental or private non-for-profit organizations. And I want to go through this list. I don't want to go through the federal government. We're really not going to talk about the federal government in this class. We're really going to focus on state and local governments as well as nonprofits. And so let's take a look at some of these concepts. All right, number one, accountability is the foundation of financial reporting. This is critically important for the governments that you're going to find. Accountability, which is basically the government being accountable to the citizens or the residents of that particular community. And the budget is going to be based on how we can service those residents, how we can be accountable to them. All right? And we will prepare a budget, and we will constantly update the budget and compare the budget to what is actually going on. That is the accountability aspect of it. Non-for-profits, not so much. The next, the Mdna, or Management's Discussion and Analysis. This is something that is reported in the financial section of a state and local government financial report. It is required. It is not required for nonprofits. The next item is only for the federal government, so we'll skip that. All right, the next item. Stewardship is identified as a financial statement purpose. Stewardship, basically, this is how the government is managing the money, the donations that have been entrusted to them. I shouldn't say government, I'm sorry, the nonprofit. This is important for nonprofits. Nonprofits, you're going to find through our studies, they get a lot of their revenue through donations or contributions from interested donors. Right? They want to see the mission statement succeed. All right? And so obviously they're interested in making sure that the nonprofits are good stewards of their money. The next one actually goes hand in hand with the accountability, as I said earlier, a concern with budgetary compliance. We want to comply with the budget. What we're going to see in our studies this semester is the first thing that the government does in the year is they pass a budget. And that budget needs to be followed. As a matter of fact, we are not going to be able to go over budget. The accounting system is going to stop people from going over budget. And so complying with the budget is very critical for state and local governments. Next, absence of defined ownership interests. Well, this is true across the board. You can't have stock ownership or be a partner at a state and local government or a nonprofit. The equity, which represents ownership shares for a for-profit company, as you studied in all your other accounting classes, for a state and local government, the equity simply represents the asset less the liability. Same thing with a nonprofit. What we're going to study in this class are Gatsby Standards, right? Gatsby stands for Governmental Accounting Standard Board. The Gatsby Standards are applied to state and local government financial reporting. And the FASB Standards are going to be used to prepare private or non-governmental nonprofit organizations. You are going to see that there are some governmental nonprofits, like a college and university, like Florida Atlantic University. FAU is part of the state of Florida government. And when you look at FAU's financial statements, and we will in this class, you are going to see that they follow Gatsby standards. Yes, it's a nonprofit, but it's a public or a governmental nonprofit. And last but not least, the standards are actually focused on the external users. That would be the residents or the donors. That is true for both governments as well as nonprofits.